Attempts to merge paganism into Christianity were being made even in the days when our New Testament was being written, folks, for Paul mentioned that the mystery of iniquity was already at work. Already at work. And he warned that there would come a falling away, and some would depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, the counterfeit doctrines of the pagans. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 through 7. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. And by the time that Jude wrote the book that bears his name, it was necessary for him to exhort the people to earnestly contend for the faith that was once delivered unto the saints. For certain men had crept in who were attempting to substitute things that were no part of the original faith. Check Jude chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. Christianity, folks, came face to face with the Babylonian paganism in its various forms that had been established in the Roman Empire. The early Christians refused to have anything to do with its customs and beliefs. And we all know what happened. Much persecution resulted. Many Christians were falsely accused, thrown to the lions, burned at the stake, and in other ways tortured and martyred. And for their own safety, they went underground in the catacombs and in the caves, and they formed their own secret society, which was known then as the Friendly Open Secret Society, and their symbol to mark their way was a fish. Then great changes began to be made. The Emperor of Rome professed conversion to Christianity. He had to. For Rome would have fallen just as sure as a tree in the forest falls to the axe, if he had not made that move. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back right after this very short pause. Ladies and gentlemen, the hour of the time is brought to you by Swiss America Trading. This is one program that we've had many applications from people and companies and corporations wanting to sponsor us. Now, these people are usually in what's called the patriot community, because mainstream companies, corporations, organizations, and people wouldn't touch this broadcast with a 40-foot pole, I can assure you. We chose Swiss America Trading because we checked them out. We found out that they're good people. Real good people. They're honest. They back up their guarantees. They back up what they say. We have an agreement. If I think they didn't do somebody right, they make it right instantly, or they don't sponsor this program anymore. That's about the best guarantee that anybody on radio could ever give you. You see, I don't do anything halfway, folks. Whoever sponsored this program was going to invariably become attached to me. My name and theirs would be linked. Whether we wanted it to happen or not, they would be linked. Therefore, I had to have a sponsor that I could believe in, and that would offer our listening audience something that they needed, really needed badly. And you all need the services of Swiss America Trading to protect what you've worked all your life to gain against what is coming in our future. The New World Order, the actual legal aspect of it in the law, was established a long time ago. The only people who don't understand that the world government is already in place is the sheeple of the world. so as not to precipitate an armed uprising against them. They are acclimatizing you gradually to the fact that world government exists, that when there is a conflict between the Constitution and the United Nations Charter, the United Nations Charter shall prevail. You're being taught these things through television, through the movies. Children are being taught in school in a way where everybody knows something's wrong and everybody suspects what's going on, but nobody really knows except the listening audience of this broadcast. Now, whether or not you ever purchase anything from Swiss America Trading, if you value what you hear on the hour of the time, you need to call them at least to thank them for sponsoring this program. If you do that and mention my name, they'll send you several free newsletters and some other written material that you need to read. I would advise you strongly, very strongly, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to them about making an investment in non-confiscatable, non-reportable hard assets in the form of gold or silver or platinum. And I strongly suggest you do this as soon as possible and set up a program where you can continue over the coming weeks and months and hopefully a few more years, build up a reserve that you can use in time of great need. Call them. Do it now. 1-800-289-2646. That's 1-800-289-2646. You'll be glad. You'll be very, very glad, ladies and gentlemen, that you did. In those early days of the real church, Christ's church, who practiced exactly what he taught them, great changes began to take place that have affected us right up to this very day. What a shock it must have been when Constantine professed a conversion to Christianity after stating that he had seen the vision of a cross in the sky. And some accounts say that he didn't see it in the sky during daylight, that he saw it in a dream. And ladies and gentlemen, because he never accepted Christ during his entire life, and in fact was a pagan sun worshiper, I question whether he ever saw a cross at all. You see, because history says and records very clearly that Constantine never accepted Christ as his Savior. He never really followed the teachings of Christ. He was, in fact, a sun worshiper. He practiced the mystery religion of Babylon. But he was, in fact, the emperor of Rome. Rome very quickly became